Hello everyone and welcome to Community Distance Reiki. Excuse me. I'm Danielle Stimpson. I'm the owner of Learn Reiki Philadelphia, and I'm so happy to have you here with me this evening. If you're new here, definitely hit subscribe and like and all that good YouTuber stuff. I'm here every Friday and Sunday evening at 8 p.m. East Coast US time to bring you some crystal healing and some Reiki. So go ahead, if you're here with us live, go into the chat and make any healing requests that you have. Hattie is just losing it right now. Little Hattie. Yeah. Okay. So go ahead, if you're here live, tap any requests that you have for your personal healing or well-being or any goals that you have. I'll go ahead and I'll either pick stones for you or you can request specific stones. We are going to go ahead and build a beautiful crystal grid exactly to all of your requests. And then after that, I'm going to quickly explain what Reiki is, a little of how it works, and then we're going to get into a lovely Reiki session where I will send you healing wherever you are, whenever you're watching this, so that you can enjoy and feel a little bit better today. If you'd like to learn more about me, my live online Reiki certification classes, if you'd like to schedule a one-on-one healing or tarot reading, it's all this way. Did I mirror things again? I did. I hit the mirror button again. Go ahead and click the QR code and it'll bring you to everything. But most of all, it's important to have you here. I'm so glad that you're here. I love the requests coming in already, and I'm definitely seeing some themes. So let's dive in. Awesome. So as usual, we are starting out with this here mirror. This helps to reflect and deflect any negative energy. And this copper spirals are very much connected with the healing arts, and they have been since as far back as cave drawings that we know of. And copper helps with moving energy, much like it does with electricity. So yeah, we'll go ahead and start there. I love the requests that we're getting. Shell Bell, Catherine, Chris, Catherine, yes, and I'll happily put that in for you. Yeah, Chris, Renee, Fiat Luna, Blue Sky, Lila Ray, and JS. So we'll start off with JS's requests. I believe it was healing and protection for family and a deeper connection for self. So I got some red jasper. This will definitely help with protection as well as healing. This is a stone that helps with the root chakra and connection to the earth's basic needs, primal urges, fight or flight. This helps with grounding. It also helps with empowerment. It helps us to feel much stronger, much more stable. It also helps with depression, and especially depression that comes from like a long-term illness, like a long convalescence, a serious injury. It's wonderful too for emotional support and energetic protection. So that's helpful. So yeah, good for all of those. And let's see. Let's start there. Okay, and I'm also going to grab you some moss agate. This is great for physical and spiritual. Moss agate is helpful for any kind of infection or illness or anything that might be going on. It's also really helpful for dealing with any kind of congestion or anything in the upper body. Helpful too for connection to spirit and connection to nature. Helpful too with like fears of the unknown. For those of you who might be engaged in psychotherapy, this is a great stone for doing psychological parts work, like inner child, higher self, as well as just a connection to our guides, our spirits. So that is moss agate. I love that this has such a great balance of both physical and spiritual. So there we go with moss agate. And so I hope that helps. It's so good to see you, JS. Oop. And I just closed a window that I wasn't expecting. Okay, there we go. So thanks for being here, JS. So next we have believe it was Lila Ray. Yes, Lila Ray, you wished for some protection of your peace when you have to be around people you don't resonate with. That's a good one. I like that one. Yeah. So we're going to bring in some Golden Healer. This was a beautiful gift from Cora Carr. If you see her in the chat today, definitely say hello. This is Golden Healer, also goes by the name Hematoid Quartz. It helps with balancing and clearing energy on all levels, like your whole meridian system, your chakras. It's great for any kind of crystal type healing, or really any healing. This is thought to protect the practitioner while they're doing the work. It also helps with enhancing the session. Good for channeling, spirit connection, excellent for cord cutting. If you've got really old, stagnant energy connected to people that maybe aren't in your life or are in your life in a different way, this can be helpful. Also helps with self-esteem, and it's great for healing trauma and clearing the energy in a space or a room. So that is Golden Healer. And the other one I wanted to bring in is Herkimer. This helps to do the kind of the other side of things. This will help to harmonize the dissonance between you and the folks that you kind of don't see eye to eye with, or maybe they're just not great folks. This definitely brings that, it harmonizes the discord there. It helps too with metabolism, intuition, relaxation. It boosts anything that you're manifesting, and it also helps you to connect with spirit and your guides. It's very much a stone that supports you being in the present moment as well. So that is Herkimer. So I hope that that helps. And next we have, and it's good to see you too, Lila Ray. And Blue Sky, request for your older cat and for you for strength and bravery. Partner and younger cat, trauma. And healing mind, body, and spirit. Gotcha. So we're going to start things off with Brecciated Jasper. Brecciated Jasper is actually red jasper that cracked open, and then later on new quartz filled that in. So it's like a healed red jasper, healed with crystal. So I feel like that kind of goes a long way to be an analogy for what it does. This is very clearing, very protecting, very grounding. It also helps with lots of reproductive stuff in women, from fibroids to fertility, womb stuff, even endometriosis. This also helps skin allergies, sexual issues, as well as issues around self-doubt, shame, guilt, any of those. Also helps with if anytime that someone's dealing with someone who's manipulative and they don't see it, this is a good stone to kind of put around to help them notice. Also helps with confidence, strength, stamina, physical vitality, and animal healing. And it's wonderful too for dream recall and stability in any kind of crisis. It's once soothing and also like stabilizing. For trauma, we have Black Obsidian. This is one of my favorite stones for this. Obsidian is a type of natural glass, and in particular, it's very helpful for healing things like really intense trauma, like a sudden loss, tragic loss, loss in your life, injury, any number of things. This can be helpful. It's also helpful for being protective. It's wonderful for nervous pets, so this will also help your younger cat. But yeah, helpful for trauma. Also helps to protect from things like gossip and spite and words said about you. And it can be an excellent stone for healing grief, especially grief that you just can't access. It's almost like, where were the tears? I don't know where. This one will help. And that's, again, Black Obsidian. And I'm also going to bring in Snowflake Obsidian. This is lovely for body, mind, and spirit balance. Super for that. Also helps with relieving things around loneliness, as well as things like guilt and shame. Also helps with serenity and peace, and especially things like serenity, peace, and hope after any kind of loss. This will also be helpful for, I believe it was Lila Ray's request. This will also support that. wonderful too for clairaudience. That's the intuitive guidance that we get through our hearing. It also helps to show us any patterns or habits we have that are holding us back and helps us to move past them. And it can be really wonderful for calming overstimulation. Like if you're really overwhelmed, Snowflake Obsidian can help. So thank you for being here, Blue Sky. It's good to see you and lots of love. Fiat Luna, you have an intention of grounding, building resistance against stress, as well as passion and creativity. Absolutely. So let's start with azurite. Azurite, and you can see where it gets its name, this gorgeous azure blue. This is helpful for creativity as well as insight, intuition, and connecting the spirit. It helps too with connection with your spiritual self, gaining wisdom from your spiritual connection or your energy work or intuitive work. And it also helps with making decisions. And especially if you're being very indecisive or worried about the outcome, this can help to quell that and help you make the best decision. It also helps to calm and quiet the mind, especially during energy work or even meditation. And it also helps with things like spinal alignment and dissolving blockages, as well as removing literal blockages from your path. So that's azurite, but yeah, very creative and very spiritual. For the next one is going to be tiger iron. Tiger iron is tiger eye that also has hematite in it. So this helps with clearing and restoring the blood. It's been thought to, hematite's been connected with the blood since pre-biblical times because it does contain a lot of iron. So it does, when it breaks open, you see quite a bit of red. It helps with creativity, survival instinct, everything about the root and sacral chakra. So basic needs, primal urges, fight or flight, and relationships, sexuality, sensuality, and creativity. Helps too with good attention to detail, really good emotional balance, and balanced thinking, as well as helping to keep good energy boundaries. So this is a good one too. I think this one is going to be good for a couple of the requests, which is why I brought it in. And I also wanted to bring in, let's see, some fluorite. This is lovely for quite a many things, but especially for finding order amid chaos. So this is one that can help you to get a little bit more resilient to stress. So that's fluorite. Fluorite comes in a number of colors. It also helps just clarity of mind. It's another one that helps with decision making. It also helps with clear priorities and making sure the priorities you're setting are in alignment with what you ultimately want in the end of things. Very much about discernment and seeing the finer details of a situation, and helps with things on the mundane, regular level, as well as the spiritual side of things. Very relaxing too. So definitely one that can help with helps with a lot, especially things like anybody that makes chaos in order to get away with something else, let's say. This is a great stone to help ground that and see it when it's coming. So that is fluorite. Next is sugilite. Oh, sorry. That was for Fiat Luna. So lots of love. I hope that helps. Renee, these are for you. I love that intention. Salutations, may I get something to soften hateful people? I have two great stones for that. The first is aquamarine. This is like our Karen be gone kind of stuff. And when I say Karen, I don't mean a person named Karen. I mean, you know what I mean. So aquamarine is a stone that is generally about deflecting pettiness, low-end energy, nonsense behavior. It also helps with kind of grounding the energy and keeping at bay people who are, I usually like to say, already aggrieved. People who showed up angry, who were kind of wanting an argument, or people who are just so hateful or angry or spiteful. This helps to keep that at bay. It's also really helpful for a sense of justice, and it's lovely too for forgiveness. It helps too with all fluids within the body. It's thought helpful for that. And it's also just one in general for teeth, gums, and fluids in the body. So that is aquamarine. The next is sugilite, which we can't have enough of everything that this stands for in the world. We really can't. Sugilite is a little bit hard to find, and it's not very inexpensive. So this is the teeniest little piece that I have. So sugilite is superb for collective consciousness, reminding us all that we are interconnected. Lovely for connection to the source, for awareness of Reiki and connection to Reiki. Great for transformational healing, healing any kind of abandonment stuff, especially parental abandonment. Lovely for intuition and balancing that intuition with workaday mundane stuff. Helpful too with forgiveness, pain relief, and even with just self-acceptance and releasing, most importantly, releasing judgment. That's where a lot of the hatefulness kind of comes from. But this is ultimately one about unity consciousness, that we are all interconnected, we're all one. And that is one of the concepts at the core of Usui Reiki. So definitely fits here. So that's for you. It's a wonderful request. I hope it helps. You're welcome, Fiad Luna. Oh, it's good to see you, Nico. You're welcome, Blue Sky. Chris, it's good to see you. It's good to see you. Okay. Yes, TGIF in general. Absolutely agreed. Catherine was looking for something to give the body strength. Yes. I have two for that. The first one is going to be Tiger Eye. This one is great for like clear-mindedness, like study, research, like very tight eye. Great for looking for information and organizing it too. Helps to protect against envy and jealousy, so it definitely complements the aquamarine we just had. This is also one that helps to bolster courage and mental emotional strength as well as physical strength. It's wonderful too for balance and for big picture thinking, entrepreneurial thinking, seeing the whole picture. But yeah, this one can be really helpful. And then another one for physical strength. So let me do something with these. Tiger Eye, because next for physical strength and also for physical mobility, I have polychrome jasper. Here we go. Polychrome jasper is lovely for reigniting our soul's passions for things. So passions for things in your life, like activities, as well as things even like your career too. Wonderful for breaking through indifference and getting to some motivation, and helps too with confidence. But as far as how it relates to your request, this is great for physical strength, physical vitality, and movement, especially in the lower extremities and the legs. It helps with getting moving and getting to want to move, and it helps to support mobility, healthy, active mobility. Wonderful too for the soul, for the Earth Star chakra. Earth Star chakra is beneath the root, and that encompasses our ability to like walk through and show up in our life in accordance with our higher self and everything that we want in life, our path, if you will. So yeah, this gives a lot of physical strength and a lot of help with movement. So that is polychrome jasper. I hope that helps, Catherine. Chris, good to see you. I love those requests. Let's see. Awesome. I'm going to pull everything that you requested, and I'm going to work it into everyone else's stuff too. But let's go. Leopard skin jasper, iolite, left, right. Let's see. Okay. Citrine. Aventurine. Herkimer's in there. So I'm going to go ahead and add some of these that are really, I'm going to add all of these to the grid, but I'm going to add a few of them now and then work the rest in. I'm going to start with the first ones in this group that match like a lot of requests we've already had, because as always, there's a lot of synchronicity in what's going on with us, just how things work in the universe. So we'll start off with one that brings a lot of strength, organization, and creativity, and that's garnet. Garnet is the stone of January, which is my birthday. It's a very Capricorn stone. It's all about practicality, getting organized, and making the most of your time, your resources, being really time-minded and good with time management. Helps too with finding balance, finding a source of strength when things are challenging, and also just in general creativity. Lots and lots of creativity. So that's very much in line with what a lot of us are looking for tonight. Next, we're going to go ahead and bring in some connection with Super 7. Excellent for working with your guides, working with your intuition, telepathy, channeling, any of the clairvoyances. Helps too with working towards larger plans, goals, and dreams, as well as strengthening our energy field, creating a lovely space for healing, peace, and unity consciousness. Lovely too for healing past lives and karma, and for connection to the earth and healing the earth. So something that we actually do in a lot of my Reiki classes when we're learning to send Reiki over a distance is I first have the students, if there's time, send Reiki to the earth. It's really practical. You can absolutely feel it, and the earth needs all the healing she can get. So there we go. Super 7 is a lovely stone to do that with. Next, we're going to go ahead and bring in, I feel like this one could be helpful. Aventurine helps us to see a bigger version of ourselves. It helps us to see a greater potential for ourselves and get out of our own way, in a sense. It helps to support you through allergies, eye problems, issues with your heart rhythm. It's also thought helpful for creativity, and it's wonderful for learning. And it's especially helpful for folks that are learning who feel intimidated by what they're learning or feel like they can't do it, they lack the confidence. This is a stone that says, hey, maybe I can. So there you go. That is aventurine. And also in line with connection, let's do some apophyllite. Super charged stone for connecting to your spirit guides and angels. Working with the Akashic records, which is like think of it as like the karmic records for all time. That's what the Akashic records are. Helps too with astral travel, and for, on the physical side, physical rejuvenation. Wonderful for discerning the truth as well. And excellent for the third eye center. So let's go ahead and put some apophyllite out here. So yeah, I will work in the rest as we go. It's so good to see you, Chris. I hope you're doing well. And Nico, let's go ahead and get some of your requests. Awesome. So Nico, some good ones. I hope everything's going well with you, Nico. Okay, so we've got this. better communication. Sodalite. I'm going to start here for Nico. So I know you had mentioned discipline and things. So a really good one for self-discipline and for a couple of things you requested, black onyx. In addition to helping with discipline and sticking to the plans that you have, it's also great for things like grief, protection, letting go of old pains, helps with self-esteem, helps with anxiety, and it grounds a lot of fear. This is also one that can help with ancestor connection. So it's definitely one that I recommend for ancestor work, or if someone has lost a relative recently, this can be a beautiful gift, is black onyx. For financial abundance, which I think we all can agree on is a good thing, let's bring in some of that citrine that Chris had asked for. Citrine is fantastic for calling in that financial abundance. It's also helpful for making good financial decisions and thinking with a really good balanced logic. So you're open to your intuition, but also balancing that with regular ideas and thoughts moving forward. Helps too with nausea, morning sickness, fibromyalgia, and it's superb for addictions, recovery, as well as compulsions. So let's go ahead and bring in some citrine. There we go. We'll also bring in for communication, we will bring in some sodalite. Lovely for expressing ourselves in all ways. This is speaking and communicating that way, but it's also writing, it's also performing, it's music, it's any way that you express your true self. This is also a stone that helps with relieving menopause symptoms. It aids writing, and it's lovely for things like grounding impulses and for feeling a little less homesick for anyone that might be struggling with that. Sodalite's one of my favorite stones to recommend for folks when they're worried about Mercury retrograde, because this is so good at helping with that communication aspect that gets so hampered during Mercury retrograde. So that's sodalite. Additionally, for things like addiction and struggling there, we have some amethyst. This helps with accountability in a larger way, but also things like recovery. It's very connected with this. This is often a stone that you would think of along the lines of like the Serenity Prayer. It helps to lighten mental burdens. It's very calming and provides a lot of emotional relief. Also helps with unity consciousness, understanding our dreams, and processing grief, emotional burden, aiding spiritual connection and intuition, and it's thought to aid sleep as well. Thought to help with blood clotting, and it's also used in a lot of purification rituals. So that is amethyst. And I saw the emotional maturity and stuff like that. Honey calcite can be helpful with that. Honey calcite is lovely for the solar plexus, that's your center of self, personal identity, and free will. And it also helps with balancing that and the sacral, which is the center of relationships and how we connect with others. Also the center of creativity. So this is one that can help you to attract the people you're meant to connect with, like your people. Also helpful for dealing with challenging times while remaining optimistic about the end, and also helping with, this is actually another one that helps with menopause. But yeah, this is great for relationships, especially if you're defining me and you, setting boundaries and doing that in a healthy, good way. This is a lovely stone. So that is honey calcite. And one more I wanted to add is aqua aura. This is one we've used quite a bit for depression and anxiety. It's very helpful for that. I found it to be helpful for that personally, but it's also great for mystical connection and intuition, as well as the throat chakra. So it will help with that level of communication. It's wonderful for channeling and also for psychic protection. And it's one that lots of people use for sadness and grief as well. So that is Aqua Aura. So I hope that that helps. And let's see. Oh, you got a job offer and you have to move. Excited and nervous at the same time. Oh, congratulations. I'm excited for you. Let's do... Adventurine's a good one to have in there for you, but I'm also going to bring in Picture Jasper. I've been working with this one myself. Picture Jasper helps us to envision the future for ourselves. That's better than the one that exists currently. It also helps with seeing the big picture, like big level vision, to see all the different aspects of a plan you might be making or things for the future. Also helps with new ventures and adventures, helps with big moves, especially if it's to a place with different culture or different language. And it helps with releasing fears. It's also very helpful for smoking cessation. So we will go ahead and bring in, let's see, where do we want to put you? Some Picture Jasper. Yeah, anytime that I'm like brainstorming about the future and I just want it to be, I want it to stay on the positive, what's possible, like good potential. This is a lovely stone. Okay. And Chris, rutilated quartz, absolutely. Rutilated quartz can be helpful with breaking up really old stuck energy, whether that's in the form of like a mass within the body or just energy. Also very much helpful for clearing and focusing the mind, and it's long been thought helpful to direct energy to where it's most helpful in the body. So it's great for energy workers. In older circumstances, this is a stone that was often recommended for folks that had cancer. Reason being, it was thought that the energy could help like break up what was there, and it was also with the intention of may this help the treatments you're getting go to the right place and do the right thing, while also giving you some strength and physical vitality. This also helps with ascended master type work, as well as connecting with the divine masculine, dealing with any kind of obstructions, as well as clearing your own energy. It helps with bad habits if you're looking to break a habit, and it can help with finding the source of negative thoughts and kind of bringing that to a close. Good for a lot of self-reflection if you want to get to the heart of the matter and not beat yourself up too much, but also helpful for headaches. So that is, I'll actually put that here. Rutilated quartz. Rutilated quartz is another one too that can help you find the truth of the matter, so that's a good one to keep around. So rutilated quartz. And was that apophyllite? Probably yes. This is apophyllite. Yeah, excellent for connecting with your guides. It's a powerhouse for intuition. Any kind of, especially things like visual, like scrying, excellent for those. Okay, so I'm gonna, if anyone has any requests, go ahead and shout them out there. So probably last call for stones coming up. I'm gonna put in the ones that Chris requested. And we'll start with some labradorite. This is super helpful for better sleep. And along with, just like a tiger eye, this is a great one for really detailed attention, study, and research. Lots of information and finding what's most important in it. It also helps with calming disputes, with clairvoyance, and with enjoying travel. So that is labradorite. Actually, let's do... where should we place these? Let's do... Leopard skin jasper can be helpful for our animal companions. It can also help with attracting a soulmate type relationship. And it's helpful for healing anything that's impacting your skin. Lovely too for neurological function, especially around coordination and balance. And this is also one you can work with if you're looking to connect with your animal guides and guardians. So that's leopard skin jasper. And next we're going to get into some angelic stones. So first we have celestite. This helps us to connect with our angels and our guides, and it also aids with discernment. If you struggle with, is this a fear? Is this like a premonition? Is this my intuition telling me something? Or, am I just afraid? I'm not sure. This is a great stone to have around. It can definitely help you suss that out. Also helpful for physical pain, clearing thought, for connecting to art and music and your sense of creativity. And in general, just connection with the higher self and even your own higher wisdom. So that is celestite. And next we'll bring in angelite, which, as the name would suggest, very angelic. Angelite is lovely not only for connection to our angels, but any kind of work you might be doing with your angel, whether you want to connect with them, if you're praying to them, if you're doing energy work with them, what have you. This is very helpful. This also helps to enhance our experience during sound healing. Also helps with being a really powerful source of spiritual protection. And it helps with understanding things like telepathy, astrology, astronomy, and even astral travel. So lovely stone for all of those things. So that is angelite. Pyrite's another stone that can help with financial abundance, but it also is very energetically protective, and it helps us to better enjoy a Reiki session. Honestly, this is a great stone for Reiki practitioners, as is rutilated quartz. This is also very protective intuitionally. It's lovely for the brain, memory. It helps with attracting financial abundance because this is fool's gold, and we like to think that it calls in the real stuff. It's often found not too far from the real stuff. So that is pyrite. And iolite helps with spiritual connection and intuition, especially if you're doing any kind of shamanic work. Lovely too for anyone struggling with intuition or psychic related sleep issues, as well as money management, weight loss, and dealing with fever. So that is iolite. And Renee, the stone with water trapped in it, always a good call. Absolutely happily bring that one out. Let's see, anhydro. I will at some point find someone with a camera powerful enough to show an image of the water bubble that is trapped within this. But I do assure you, there is a water bubble trapped within here. That is called an anhydro crystal. So these help with things like fluid imbalance, and also helps to release destructive emotional patterns. Helps with determining the credibility, let's say, of information, as well as the people bearing it, and wonderful for accessing details of like past, present, and future, especially if you're doing intuitive work or healing work. If you're sending healing back to either a past life or even earlier in this life, it can be very helpful. Wonderful too for genealogy and finding family truths and family facts, doing ancestor work, and remaining amicable with difficult people. And I think this brings up what I think it was, Lila Reg, protecting peace with people you don't necessarily want to be around. This is helpful for sure. So that's anhydro, and I'm just gonna grab a couple more stones that I think would help us tonight, and then we're gonna get right into the healing, because this is a beautiful grid and the energy is just perfect. So let's do, let's see, the first one that jumped out at me was actually Dragon's Blood. I think it connects a lot of the requests tonight. dragon's blood, which actually has epidote in it. Dragon's blood is great for things like grief, loss, self-pity, learning from your mistakes and having patience with yourself also. I struggle with those when I tend to beat myself up rather than learn the lesson. This is a great stone for that. This also helps the immune system, the nervous system, as well as the thyroid, and it is thought to help support the courage and the strength to create lasting change in your life. It's also very optimistic, lots of wisdom, and it's thought to help with healthy skin, hair, and nails. So that's dragon's blood. Yeah, the grid does look awesome. Thank you everyone for inspiring it. Let's see. Smoky quartz is another one that helps the flexibility of mind, and it came up more than once that this might be helpful for folks that we're dealing with. So smoky quartz is lovely for that. It's also very protecting. It helps to change and transmute energy. Wonderful for clearing energy blockages, and also for it's thought to help prevent theft. Lovely too for keeping hope alive, especially when things don't look so great. It's a very optimistic stone, gives you a lot of hope. Also helps with chronic pain, and like I said, that flexibility of mind, that let me soften what I think I know and see what there is on this side. Let me consider something new. So that is smoky quartz. And sapphire. Super helpful for anything intuitive and connection to spirit, your angels, connection to healing energy, for envisioning a good outcome in something challenging, and also for bringing about justice in a way that is speedy or expedited. Also helpful for just envisioning a good future ahead. It's also thought to be helpful for things like dementia, as well as the eyes and the ears. So let's go ahead, and where shall we place these? Let's place them here. So I think we are ready. I am going to go ahead and do that thing where I explain what Reiki is, a little of how it works, and how you can make the most of your session. And while I do that, for those of you who've been here before and heard it 1,000 times, I invite you to go ahead and drop right into that chat and go ahead and share anything that you're grateful for. Reason being, just even thinking about the things that you're grateful for can help to lift the energy in the space that you're in and your own personal self. That can really help to boost your mood and boost the session, but also it helps just with the energy of the universe in general, because we are all interconnected. So yeah, the things that you enter in the chat for your gratitudes will pop up on the screen, but they won't stay there for very long. And yeah, other than that, let's dive right in and I'll get to explaining. So as I mentioned at the top of the stream, my name is Danielle Stimpson. I'm the owner of Learn Reiki Philadelphia, and if you'd like to learn more about my live online Reiki certification classes, if you would like to learn more about one-on-one distance sessions or tarot readings, go ahead and scan that QR code that's in the corner right here. It'll take you to a landing page where you can learn all about everything that you want, and sign up for those sessions if you'd like. So what is Reiki? Reiki is kind of become an umbrella term in the West for energy healing. Specifically, I work with what's known as Usui Reiki. This particular style or method was founded by Mikao Usui in the early 1920s in Japan. And this particular approach and style was, while deeply, deeply spiritual, not religious, not dogmatic. So it was a secular energy healing that was of a much more modern, easy to connect with, and powerful while being personally impactful. So yeah, basically based on the concept we find in Shintoism, which is the indigenous spirituality and worldview of Japan, in which everything is interconnected. You, me, the world, everyone and everything in the world, even the objects around us, everything has a soul. And within that interconnectedness of everyone and everything, there are other forces that forces that are already there that we can call upon. One of those is Reiki, or the spiritually guided sort of life force energy, if you will. It's thought that we all have this energy already flowing through us all the time. It's not a new thing for us. But what I'll be doing is using this practice, or Usui's methods, to connect with it, with the energy, and direct more of it to you, wherever you are, whenever you're watching this. And yes, whenever you're watching this, it doesn't matter when you're watching it, the Reiki will be there for you just the same. And so you can just sit back and enjoy. So how do you make the most of this session? Exactly that. You can sit back and enjoy, or you can use this time any way you like. If you want to simply take a deep breath, close your eyes, and just experience, highly recommend it. Maybe you'll fall asleep. That won't hurt your session. That's totally fine. You may also use this time more actively, like to do some yoga, to journal, anything that feels like the thing to do at this time, anything that feels particularly spiritual or helpful at this time. Oh, I'm on the wrong screen. Hang on one moment, y'all. Ta-da! There we go. So yeah, as I was saying, during the session, yeah, you can lay down, sit down, fall asleep, stay awake, do anything you like. It's totally up to you. You don't have to focus on anything, and you don't have to keep your mind silent. You can if you want to, but I generally encourage you, if at any point you feel like you came out of your session or you get distracted, I invite you to take a deep breath in and out, and it'll pull you right back in. I will send Reiki to you wherever you are, whenever you're watching this, for 30 minutes. During that time, the crystal grid will be on the screen, and there will be a beautiful light shining on it that will move slowly and gently through several different colors, but at no point will it flash or strobe. The music, you can learn more about the musical creator at the bottom of the description. All of her information as well as her links are there. And I am here every Friday and Sunday to bring you some healing at 8 p.m. East Coast US time. So thank you so much for being here. At the end of the session, you'll hear my voice come back in. I'll invite you to come back to your body. You don't have to. You can just stay where you are. But at that time, I'll be able to answer any personal questions that you have. You can just answer them in the chat. If you're watching this after the case, you can go ahead and use that QR code that you see. Now it's over. Go ahead and use that QR code to connect with me, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. Or join us for another share. So let's go ahead and get a closer look at that grid and get into the healing. Ooh, you all did a wonderful job. This looks gorgeous. Good request, y'all. So, awesome. I am going to go ahead and set up those lights. I thank you for all of the beautiful gratitudes, the ones that we thought, the ones that we typed, and everything in between. Go ahead, and I invite you to just take a deep breath in and out when you feel ready. Go ahead and get comfy, and I will begin sending in just a few moments. I invite you now, take a slow, deep breath in and out. Slowly come back to your body. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you have any questions or anything you'd like to share, the chat is open. I will be back Sunday at 8 p.m. East Coast US time. And I really love this grid that you all inspired. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome, Lila Ray. Yeah, it's been a rough couple of weeks for everyone. Absolutely. I'm glad I could be here for you all. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and start to bring the stream to a close. Oh, you like the music? Oh, awesome. I'm going to look up what song was playing today and try to find more songs like that. Yay. Awesome. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and bring the stream to a close here with an abundance of gratitude. I know all of you are just sort of coming back from your sessions. It's totally fine. Be gentle on yourselves. Take care of yourselves this weekend and do something for you. Do something nice for yourself, whether it's a foot soak, a cup of tea, or going for a meal you really like, or just taking a few minutes to putz around when you need it. It's been a rough few weeks and we all kind of need to ground. I totally get it. Oh, you're so welcome, Chris. I hope you're doing well. I hope the calcification thing is all taken care of, too. I've been thinking about you. But I love you. I love you all very much. Oh, you're welcome, Blue Sky. This is where I love to be. So thank you for showing up and giving me the reason to do it. So I am going to jump off here because we're going to start to hear the cats cry in a moment. They're ready for their TREATSs. Yes, they are. I hope you have a good night too, Chris. So yeah, everybody take care of yourself this weekend. I'll be back Sunday night. And yeah, have a good weekend. I hope to see you again soon. Take care and bye for now. If you haven't hit like and subscribe and all that good stuff, consider doing so on the way out. And I hope to see you again soon.